Hello, this is Lucas Palmeira from Imagine, and I'm here to give another tutorial on DRC. For today's tutorial, I'm gonna teach you how to make 3 sounds from the song Save a Prayer by the great 80s band called Duran Duran. So let's get right into it. Okay, so we start off with the arpeggiator sound, which is quite an iconic sound. Sound goes like this. Okay, and we have here a K7D doing the delay and a delay modulator, and this equalizer is just boosting the high. So let's get right into it. Bring the default patch back, and we start off by changing the first oscillator to a square wave and pulse width modulation at 93. Next, we go to the second oscillator, but first I'm going to raise it to maximum. Second oscillator, drop 1 octave, and change the detune to 80. Okay. Now raise sub oscillator to maximum, no, to 636, and go to sub oscillator, raise 1 octave. Change it to a square wave. Okay. Now on the filter side, we go to the resonance and raise it to 232. And we have everything on this side. And now we go to the first envelope generator that modulates the amplitude, and we drop sustain to 0. Decay at 3 to 1. And a release of 300. Second envelope generator, its default values 0 to 30, 400, and a release of 100. Finally, we go to the reverb, raise amount to 228, decay of 716, and a damping of 648, and modulation of 426. Okay, now we go to delay modulator, turn it on, 200 time, 100 feedback, 303 depth, 193 rate, and full wet. It takes this dimension mode, takes out a little bit of the high frequency, so that's why I'm giving this boost on the equalizer to get it back. And finally, our K7D delay, tape delay. We have a dry wet of 443, a feedback of 100, about 111, a time of 1/8 dotted, and finally ping pong on with a stereo width of 127 and full wow. Okay, let's now go to the DigiPipe. Okay, this is the lead of the sound. It has a delay modulator that I'm turning off for now and bringing back the default patch. First thing I'm going to do is raise 1 octave, change it to a square wave, and pulse width modulation at 475. Now I raise second oscillator to maximum, drop 1 octave, change it to a square, and fine tune it to 80. No, to 172, sorry. Finally, sub oscillator at maximum, raise 1 octave, and change it to a square as well. Okay, now performance mode to mono. And on the filter side, let's drop the cutoff to 608. And raise the resonance to 604. 204, sorry. Now, for the first envelope generator, we have 0 attack, full decay and sustain, and about 100 release. Second envelope generator is default values 0 to 30, 400, and 100. Now we go to the modulation page of the filter and we raise the keyboard to 457. This means the higher the note, the higher the cutoff. Next we go to the VCA and put keyboard at maximum. This means the lower the note, the better. The higher the note, the higher the volume. Okay. Now let's go to the reverb, raise amount to 432. Decay at 698. A damping of 500 and a modulation of 100. Finally, we just go here to this cog here and go to the settings of pitch bend and change it to 7, which means 7 semitones, which is a fifth of the fundamental note that we're playing. Finally, we go to the delay modulator with 200 time, 337 depth and 197 rate with a dry wet of half, feedback almost at 0. And we have our sounds. Finally, we go to the strings. Gonna turn off this equalizer for now. And the delay modulator. And now let's bring back the default patch. Okay? First thing I'm going to do is raise 1 octave on the first oscillator. Then raise the second oscillator to 840. 840 and drop 1 octave. Let's first drop one. No, raise another octave on the second oscillator and detune it to 164. Okay. Now to sub oscillator, raise 1 octave and raise it to maximum. We don't touch the filter for now. Let's go to the first envelope generator, input attack at 414. Then 500 decay, 800 sustain, and a release of 300. Now for the second oscillator, let's first go to the pre-gain first, so because this is really loud, and drop the pre-gain to 469. Now let's go to the second envelope generator, the one that modulates the filter, and it's on default values. So nothing to do there. Just go to the reverb, raise amount to 364. Decay 753. Damping of 488. And a modulation of 210. Finally, we turn on the delay modulator, which has 200 time, 3 to 7 depth, 190 rate, and a dry wet of 570. And we turn on the equalizer. Okay, and we have all the sounds ready for us to listen. So let's now listen to the song. And this was it, guys. I really hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. We will have new content coming up next week and, if possible, every week. So if you like our content, please give us a like, subscribe to our channel. That means a lot to us. I will now say goodbye and tell you that I will be back next week, guys. So goodbye.